Hello everyone, this is my reaction to last week's Stars Is Live Q&A, inventory and crafting. As always, this is not a summary, I only talk about things I find important.
Will we be able to increase quality of a material?
Current plan is no. You won't be able to increase the quality of the material, and there's a few aspects that go into that. Firstly, we would like rare materials and valuable materials to remain rare and valuable. Concern being that if I can take a large chunk of low quality, condense it into high quality, given enough time, players will have high quality everything. And that greatly devalues the future play trading opportunities, where we really want to see the scenario of a player finds a super high rare, high value ore deposit, and perhaps on their player base they've set up a shop, and then you have people coming to your shop and like buying from you, and you get to interact with them and so on.
I get it, CRG doesn't want us to just up the quality of our mined material, so everyone would just use the highest level material and everyone would have the best weapons, best armor, best ship components, etc. On the other hand, finding high quality material is really tiresome and slow. We are talking about hours and hours and hours to finally find a rock with like plus 800 quality material. In addition, right now in mining we have to scan each rock one by one, and each time it takes like 20 to 30 seconds to see the quality of the material. This is way too slow. There are people who are still mining in 4.7. I totally admire their patience. I don't have this in me. If I want to play a game, I want to play a game and not some kind of time sink, boring, tedious simulator. Of course, I'm used to grinding in games, but Star Citizen is something else.
And we want, when you find those really high level ones, we want that to be exciting. We want that to feel like a moment. And if you could just get higher easy, you would dilute that experience.
For the guy who doesn't play his own game, I really would like to see a live stream with Chris, Richard Tara and him trying to find the material, mine it, so they can craft a high level LMG. And in the end, you are just doing a bit more damage for hours and hours and hours of boring, tedious gameplay, scanning each rock one by one. And I'm not even talking about coming back to the station, but losing your ship because you're hitting an invisible asteroid. And why do we need 1000 levels of quality? Why not at least streamline this?
Player trading is a much needed feature now that we have crafting. Any news on that?
What we want to do is give players a space in the world, taking advantage of the trade centers that we already have in locations where you can go there and you can take anything in your local inventory and put it on the local net and pick your price and sell it for what you want. Or, you know, what anybody else there that's done the same, you can buy their stuff and get what you need. So we have those actual in-world commercial centers. And then eventually we'll have player bases, base building, where you can do that locally and build your own town. So,
Year 14, more than $1 billion in funding, and we still don't have player trading. Let us sink in. Player trading was in MMOs more than 30 years ago. Right now, if you want to trade with a player, you have to drop the item on the ground or put it into a crate and hope the other guy actually pays and hope the item does not clip through the floor into the void.
The new inventory has had a lot of the same problems that we're seeing with the old inventory, such as slow load times and poor quality images. Are there plans to resolve this?
Yes. So
All right, next question.
Don't laugh. So for the images, there's a handful of initiatives underway. There's no anti-aliasing on the images, so that's one of the things we're going to look into add in. There is improvements to the framing. You'll see some things that see zoomed out, zoomed in compared to the box. There is lighting and shadows, and then for the responsiveness and the snappiness, it's work in progress. It is our desire to have it instant.
Remember, when we got the first leaks of the Evocati inventory tests, there were all those hype chill channels, and they made videos about how much faster the new inventory system loads. It is so nice. Well, I made a different video. I said this is an Evocati test. This is a very low pop server, and the server didn't run for days, weeks or months. This might be very different on live. And of course, icons are still loading very slowly. At least we have a paper doll now, which is very nice, But overall, this inventory system is still not exactly very user-friendly. This again, something most games manage to do very nicely, but once again, CRT fails in year 14 with more than $1 billion in funding.
There's a lot of work into going to making the inventory the best we can.
Yeah. It's hard because it's like,
Why is creating an inventory system that is actually very nice and very usable hard for CRT when hundreds, thousands of other games are doing it very nicely? Of course, there are games who are not doing inventory system very well, but in most games I have no issue with the inventory system. And why doesn't CRT look how other games are doing it? Inventory system is not something new in games. I don't think it's wrong to look how other games are doing it.
there are people who are going to have dissenting opinions. They're obviously always going to be someone who doesn't like how mining works or how crafting works or how whatever. What would you say to people who just wash their hands of the entire system right now? Just, I don't like any of this. I wish you'd made Star Wars Galaxies. Just make Star Wars Galaxies, please.
I think it's
Ahazi. Ahazi. Shout out to Ahazi.
I think it's pretty early to wipe your hands of it. Like we've got a long ways to go, both in crafting itself and the other features that are going to support crafting. Yeah, it's too early to tell, I would say. This is absolutely just our first step out the door. And while it's really cool to see what players can already do with it, we're far from done.
I'm getting really, really tired, and I think by now it's just not a good idea anymore to play the card. It's early days. We are near 14, CRG is at over $1 billion in funding, and we have still people on their shows telling us it's early days. And again, why not look how other games are doing it? Why not look how Star Wars Galaxy is doing this and use it as an inspiration, as a first step? Why does everything in Star Citizen has to be tedious and boring and grindy to the max? Same with eating and drinking, dying of thirst in 3 hours in a game that doesn't have any accelerated time. And we still cannot even drink with a helmet on. Something NASA figured out more than 60 years ago.
Why wasn't something like that in the first release then? If you know you're going to flood the inventory system with all these new materials, with all these varying qualities, why wasn't merge and split and stuff like that in the first release?
Well, we have to release at some point, no? Don't we?
Yeah. How long do we want to wait on release for all the features that we have planned? If we waited on every little feature that we want to have be part of the system, like it would take us so much longer to get anything out into players' hands, and it would just slow down the iteration overall.
Yeah, back to 6 months waiting for the next patch.
Good old CRG, we have plans. Yeah, no one expects perfection, but you knew this would be coming. You knew there would be lots of clutter in our inventory system with all those different qualities, and you did nothing to prepare for this. Why not look in advance? Why not think things through? Oh no, this is CRG. We don't do that here.
It's hard because if we waited for everything, we'd never release anything.
No, Jared, this is not how CRT works. If CRT takes longer than other game studios, but releases something that is really good, no one would complain. Reality is, we are getting half-assed mechanics at best, thrown into the game as tier 0, never touched for years. And we have reworks of reworks of reworks of reworks, for example, inventory system, UI, star map, flight system, planet tech, etc. CRG just never looks in advance, CRG never thinks things through, CRG never has any plans, but in the end we are still getting very low quality first iterations that are in the game even years later.
So what's the plan for crafting large items that obviously won't fit in the current fabricator?
In the future, we're going to have the ability to craft directly into local storage with that initial fabricator, so that you'll have options to craft larger items in the near future. And then longer term with base building, we'll have hangar crafting, and we'll have intermediate steps in ship crafting as well as locations. So there's lots planned to like expand your options of size in crafting.
And for 4.8, we are already like expanding our catalog of craftable items. So we are expanding it to ship components, and those will also be affected by the stud improvements that you get from the quality. So you will be able to craft, correct me if I'm wrong, Deg, but power plants, coolers, life support generator?
No life support.
We didn't. Yeah. No. So what did we, weapons?
Weapons,
well, weapons we did agree on. Shield generators?
Shield generators are there.
Yeah. What am I missing? Am I missing something?
There's tractor beam.
The modules, the subcomponents for the salvage heads, mining heads.
Yeah, you heard it correctly. We will be able to craft ship components. So crafted ship components using high quality materials will be much better than anything you can find in a game, you can buy in a game, or you can buy with real life money. I am not opposed to crafting ship components in Star Citizen, but if you want high quality components, you have to look for high quality materials all day, all week long. Windrose is now in early access and I started to play this game again. It's fantastic. Of course, there's grinding in Windrose too, which is totally fine, but there's a difference between grinding in games and what Star Citizen does. I guess you have to leave your job and do Star Citizen 24/7.
Will we be able to craft weapon attachments that have different stats from their lootable counterparts?
Yes. So exactly like like picking up on the answer from the mining gadgets, it's like most of the items or a lot of the items that we have will be craftable. That includes also the attachments for weapons.
Will blueprints drop from boss fights at some point?
Yeah, we definitely plan on that.
Yeah.
Will we be able to dismantle high quality NPC gear for the high quality materials?
Have them crafted in the background, so what you get from dismantling them is actually the higher quality material that they were supposed to be crafted with.
With the plan of gear degrading over time and only having a limited amount of repairs until it is no longer usable, how do you ensure this game does not become a maintenance simulator?
Every system that we do is never meant to like annoy people. We want players to enjoy playing our game, and that also means that we have to be very conscious about some decisions that we take.
Why does CRG always claim we don't want to annoy people? But in reality, playing Star Citizen is absolutely annoying, tedious, boring, and repetitive. I literally spent hundreds of hours to get the resources to mine in games like 7 Days to Die, Valheim, and Shrouded, and now in Windrose. And I craft and build bases with those resources I mined and I gathered. Hundreds of hours. But in other games, it's actually fun to do this. In Star Citizen, it feels like a second job. And I rather watch paint dry.
We still want degradation to play a big part in our game because it's a way of us having you exchange components, taking care of components, taking care of your equipment so that they degrade slower and the functionality is reduced in a slower rate than normally they would be. But we also want to make sure that there is a floating economy. And like in real life, at some point, the laptop that you own will not be as performant anymore as it is right now. So
too late.
It's thanks to capitalism, you want to buy a new one because you need a faster PC.
Yes, in real life, things degrade. But the big hole in Thorsten's argument is, in real life, things degrade way slowly. You can buy a high-end PC right now and it still will be good for next 3 or 4 years. In real life, a gun can degrade too. Let's say you take care of your gun, you're cleaning it regularly, and after like 10,000 shots, your barrel isn't good anymore, so you have to replace the barrel. But in Star Citizen, I doubt anyone will ever fire 10,000 shots through his gun, not even in like 5-6 years playtime. So CRG will do what they do all the time, they will overdo it. Your gun and your components will degrade way faster. Like for example what CRG does with Thirst and Hunger, dying of thirst in 3 hours and of hunger in 5. This is not a fun game, Thorsten.
Maybe 1 week and a half of usage, full usage. That means you have the time using it until it reaches zero functionality. So you basically have to replace it.
I told you so. Thorsten thinks it's fun. 1 week you're using your ship, 1 week you're using your gun, 1 week you're using your components, and you have to replace them. Are you for real, Thorsten? Do you even know what the name fun means?
It will be fun. It will be fun. It will be fun.
Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye. Auf Wiedersehen.
We also had an 80-year-old man send us a letter saying, and I mean, he's just been a big Wing Commander fan, played all of Chris's games. He's pledged for Star Citizen, and he was sending us his computer specs and asking for advice on how he should upgrade his computer so Star Citizen runs well on it, which was kind of cute. So I sent him a coffee mug and a letter from Chris.
Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter or on Blue Sky.